When we search for the Mashiach in the 5 books of Moses, we discover that the Hebrew word Mashiach does appear, but not yet as the title of a future king and redeemer. Originally, Mashiach simply meant an anointed person, someone consecrated to an official role by being anointed with oil. Leviticus chapter 4 verse 5 says, "The anointed priest shall take some of the bull's blood and bring it into the tent of meeting." Here, HaKohen HaMashiach is not the future Mashiach. He is a priest anointed for sacred service. No king in the 5 books of Moses is yet called Hashem's anointed. That usage appears only in later books of the Hebrew Bible. The Torah does, however, contain passages that Jewish tradition would interpret as references to the future Mashiach. The first appears in Jacob's blessing to Judah. Genesis chapter 49 verse 10 says, "The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until Shiloh comes and the peoples obey him." The verse itself does not identify Shiloh, but Onkelos, the authoritative ancient Aramaic translation of the Torah, renders it, "until the Mashiach comes, to whom the kingdom belongs." Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, the great 11th century Jewish biblical commentator, explains it just as clearly, "the King Mashiach to whom the kingdom belongs." Another reference appears in the prophecy of Balaam. Numbers, chapter 24, verse 14, introduces the vision. "Come, I will tell you what this people will do to your people in the latter days." The vision continues in verse 17. "I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come forth from Jacob, and a scepter shall arise from Israel. He shall crush the borders of Moab, and break down all the descendants of Seth." In Jewish tradition, the star from Jacob and the scepter from Israel became symbols of the future Mashiach, although the word Mashiach does not appear in the passage. The Torah also introduces another central element of the future redemption, the gathering of the exiles. Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 3 says, "Hashem your God will restore your fortunes and have compassion upon you. He will gather you again from all the peoples among whom Hashem your God has scattered you." The Mashiach is not mentioned here. God himself gathers the people and returns them to their land. Only later would Jewish tradition identify the gathering of the exiles as one of the missions of the future Mashiach. So in the 5 books of Moses, the Mashiach has not yet emerged as a fully defined figure. We find an anointed priest, a promise of kingship to Judah, a vision of a future ruler, and the gathering of Israel's exiles. These are the foundations from which the messianic idea will develop in the later books of the Hebrew Bible.